Next, the Eugene P. Tone School in the city of Tacoma, presented by Sue Barnum and Tamara Williams.
Thank you. The staff of the Eugene P. Tone School for Homeless Children in Tacoma, Washington, and all the members of the village of which we are a part of, are very proud of your recognition here today. We know that we perform a great service to the 3,200 children and their families that we've had direct contact with since our first day of school in May of 1987. In the mid-1980s, the fastest growing population in the homeless community was that of families with children. The Tone School was started as an effort to meet the needs of this underserved population. Soon, other communities across the nation began to recognize that they had similar concerns in their own areas and began contacting the Tone School for ideas about how to start such a program in their own communities. From that time on and to date, the Tone staff regularly works and shares information with other communities throughout the nation to set up similar programs. From its inception, the Tone School has been a cooperative effort funded from various resources. We've used federal, state, and local monies, such as McKinney monies, Head Start, Title I, Chapter 1, Tacoma School General Fund monies. All of these have come together to provide the services at the Tone School. The Tacoma School District has shown its great commitment to this program by picking up pieces of funding that we've lost when other sources have been diminished. Numerous grants and contributions by private individuals, public service organizations, businesses, churches, schools, all of these areas have contributed financially and in manpower to the Tone School. From the local McDonald's that twice a day provides breakfast to our students for the last 9 years, to the private school that holds a penny drive every year and raises up to $1,000 to buy school supplies, to the 50 men and women from the Army Corps of Engineers who at Christmas time marched the 12 miles from Fort Lewis to the Tone School with their backpacks full of school supplies and clothing and books. All of these people make up the community that we are so proud to be a part of. That's only a small sampling of the many people and the many ways that people have tried to reach out to this population in Tacoma. All of these resources have come together in a cooperative effort to meet these needs of homeless children and their families. The Tone School follows the district policy of school-centered decision-making, and we have been very successful in working with literally hundreds of individuals and organizations. The Tone staff believe that education is the key to breaking out of the cycle of poverty. We offer a safe, supportive educational environment for children and act as resources to their families to help these families better meet the needs of their children. We treat families with dignity and respect and try to foster a trust in both the educational system and the many governmental systems that these families have had little success with in the past. We work towards the Tacoma School District goals of parent involvement, student achievement, and increased attendance. In addition, we offer support services and, as I say, act as a resource to these families. We want to help these families transition into the regular school system and the community. The problems these families face are complex, but we can assist these families to begin to make positive changes in their lives. We are very excited that this next year we've received a grant through the Pierce County mental health monies so that myself, the school nurse for the program, and our social worker will now be with the program full-time. Our additional time will be used to work with families as they leave the shelters and become a part of the community. And we hope to provide transitional services to see that that goes smoothly and to give them what help they need to be successful in their new environments. In closing, I'd like to give just one example of an activity that we participate in that helps to demonstrate what we are trying to accomplish. For the past 4 years, we hold weekly parent awareness groups. These meetings are a combined effort of the shelter staff and the Tone staff. Funding for transportation has come from the various shelters and through the Tone Trust. Child care is provided by the homeless child care funds. The Food Connection provides refreshments. Free immunizations are available through the Health Department and the Mary Bridge Children's Hospital, and WIC vouchers are available. Approximately 40 attend each week. We have presentations on everything from different government agencies in our area to social services. We talk about health issues, mental health issues, domestic violence, how to become more involved in your child's education. Twice a year we organize a resource fair with 40 to 50 presenters, and we also invite Head Start parents and the community at large. In short, we try to keep children connected with school. We act as a resource to parents. We help to meet the basic needs of students so that they can come to school ready to learn. We assist in the transition to the regular school setting in the community. We are a cooperative effort that is making a difference in the lives of the homeless population in Tacoma. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, first question from Jack, followed by Antonio.
Ms. Barnum, you said during your remarks that you regard education as the way to break out of the cycle of poverty. I sure understand that, and especially with respect to homeless children. But if I understand the data right, the typical stay of a child at the Tone School is about 15 days, which suggests that some number of kids are there even shorter time. Why does, without questioning that it is beneficial for the kids to be someplace constructive during a short period of time, how can you have any real educational effect on the kids in such a brief period?
I think what is more important is that we keep them connected during that short period of time. We have found if the students are not connected to education during that short period of time, when they do transition into a traditional school, because they find housing or whatever reason moves them into a neighborhood where there's a school, the longer they've been away from the classroom, the more statistically it seems to be the more they would tend to drop out and not continue with school, fall behind, not feel successful. If we can keep them connected and keep them on track as they move in and out of traditional schools, they tend to stay more connected to school. And the education also is not only for the child, it's for the parent. We also do the education for the parent to help them try to break the cycle that has made them part of the homeless.
Yes. Antonio?
My question
And
goes
Don?
to the breadth of the program. I think it's a wonderful program. My question centers around the fact that most shelters are for single males, and so are you really capturing a large section of the homeless children population?
The shelters that we serve in Tacoma serve families. They do have, there are other shelters for single males, but these shelters are specifically for children that are in parts of families. There's a domestic violence shelter, but we are reaching the majority of the homeless, as we know, in the community. There are a small number of families that are living in cars and are not in shelters, and we hope to be able to begin to identify more of those as we now have more time with this transition work to pick up on some of those families.
First Don, and then I think, David, you have a question.
That was my question. How many are there who are not in shelters?
The shelters are generally filled to capacity and turn people away every day. Where those families go, we've not had a good system to track. Whether they move to Seattle or find some other area, it's just not clear.
When we are aware of a child that is in a homeless situation that is not in one of the shelters, we do make arrangements for transportation to pick them up, be it behind a dumpster in a parking lot or from a car. If we know they're there, we'll pick them up.
David?
Do you have any hard data which would allow us to compare your success rate in keeping kids in school over the long haul? In other words, what their dropout rates are versus, say, other communities in your state or across the nation, homeless children who do not have advantage of a school like this?
We don't have the hard data on that right now. We are having an audit this year to try to track some of that. Some of it we were keeping track of last year, and the audit this year will try to provide some of that information for
Well,
us.
how do your dropout rates compare to those who are not homeless, for example, in the state? Are they about the same? Or?
We've never had a good system for tracking that, and so we can't give good information. We can really only measure our success on those success stories that we see on a daily basis. We hear stories down the line of kids that come back to us and say, you know, what a difference our program has made, but we really don't have good statistics about long-term.
We do know that we pick up 100% of the children that are in the shelters. All children in shelters in Tacoma attend school.
One question, yes.
Brief question, and thinking about other people looking at the program, have you been able to determine how much money the school would recapture because of students being there even for these limited days that would probably be lost under some of the formula of funding?
Yeah, since that is one of our sources of funding, we track that very carefully. We track them by hours, by days, by minutes. We have the basic ed funding is one of our budgets. We have the federal funding and some local funding, and the ones, but most of it goes toward transportation. And we do claim FTEs. We may deal with 500 children in 1 year, but we run at about, I think 35 FTE is what they figure is our general daily attendance, but it's done through hours, accumulation of hours.
And those would be funds that would be lost to you
Yes.
if it were not.
If we were not picking up these children, right?
One last question.
Are there other aspects to the innovation other than specifically targeting a segment not before covered? That is the homeless children?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, it seems that the innovation is that you target children in homeless families. Is there more to the innovation than that you specifically target them?
I think that one of the things in the innovation that I've noticed is that we have many agencies who have a little bit of funding to treat a group, in this case homeless, but it might be any amount of money in an organization to treat a specific group. And they find that it is not enough money to do the comprehensive program they want to. And what we have done is sought out every one of the organizations that has an amount of funding that might be used to help homeless children. And we've managed to get all of those organizations to turn that money over to us and allow us to provide the comprehensive program. And it seems to be working very well. And then one of those wonderful things is the fact